After the abysmal release that was the Claw 7 by MSI, they eventually dropped the Claw 8. And this was the redeeming handheld PC that they dropped after the abysmal chaos of the Claw 7. And I've had it for a couple of weeks now, so I wanted to give my impressions on it. This was actually my Father's Day gift a couple of weeks ago, so I treated myself to this. Shout out to all of the fathers in the chat. And let's get right into it. So first of all, the release of this was I have to say one of the weirdest things of all tech that I've seen, right? It wasn't hyped up. There weren't any ads. There weren't any kind of wasn't any kind of marketing push for people to even know that this was releasing, that it was available, and you could buy it. When it launched, I think it was in December of 2024, January of 2025. It launched on places like Newegg, and you started to see it on eBay and MSI's website. But again, it wasn't marketed. People didn't know that it was even out and stuff like that. So really weird thing by MSI. Eventually, it caught my eye because I'm in a bunch of different groups and stuff. So it was I wanted to check it out, especially after hearing decently good things about it. So at the box right here. The features on this bad boy are: has an 8-inch screen, 120 hertz, has an Intel chip. So one of the reasons that the Claw 8 AI Plus stands out is because it's one of the first handhelds, at least one of the mainstream handhelds, that has an Intel chip, the Lunar Lake chip, as opposed to what you see on all of the other handhelds like the ROG Ally X, the Legion Go's of the world, and I guess even the Legion Go S has the Z1 Extreme chip by AMD, the custom chip by AMD. So yeah, it has that, and I'll talk about it in a bit. Has 1 terabyte, has LPDDR5, 32 gigabytes of RAM, comes with Windows 11 Home, and yeah, so that's that. The box is pretty cool. I'm not super crazy about all of the extra art. I'm more of a simple guy, but it grew on me after a while. Claw 8 kind of graphics of the packaging and their marketing is out there. I already have it out of the box, but I'll show you guys in a bit. So something that these handheld PC releases are coming out with for some reason are these like the cardboard stands, which I think honestly is pathetic. You're paying a grand for a handheld PC, a computer. At least sleeve, include some kind of a case. The Legion Go actually was probably the best example. It came with an entire case. It was really not together and stuff like that, but they're really just cutting costs. So this is like a DIY stand, and the Legion Go S actually has the same thing. So pretty pathetic. I'm not a fan of this. That's why it's still in the box, honestly. And really, too crazy. In here, you got your charger. It's not a charger that's just one piece. It's the charger cord, which is pretty long, and the charger brick, which I believe is this 65 watts? AC 100. Not entirely sure, but I use a Anchor charger that I have for pretty much all of my handheld PCs. But yeah, this is what it came with, paperwork and stuff like that. So that's all fine and dandy there. And moving on. So having had this for a couple of weeks now, honestly, I have mostly good things to say about it. And here it is right here. So I've had it for 2 weeks. Windows device, obviously. So thing to mention is that it has its MSI center. So these two buttons here are basically their MSI buttons. So I'll zoom in just a little bit here. So this button right here takes you to the MSI center, which is equivalent to Legion Space or Armory Crate. And frankly speaking, it has a long way to go. It's not the best. It's probably the lowest in terms of tier. Like, you're talking about a tier, this is the lowest one out of Armory Crate, out of Space, or even if you want to throw in big picture mode, you can, but pretty dry. It has what you need, right? Like your games, it has, you can get your launchers. It looks like this is new actually, so that's pretty cool. But Amiri, it works the same as they all do. I guess this one is just not the best looking one. Here on the bottom, you have your user scenario button, which basically lets you pick your power settings. So you can adjust your TDP here, your fan speed, AI engine. So the name, the AI Plus on this machine basically has to do with the AI capability. So when you're playing a game and you have the AI engine to this, so it's going to do the work of figuring out the most optimal settings for the game that you're playing. And for the most part, it's done a pretty good job for me. I don't have any complaints. I was playing Black Myth Wukong and it was a little bit shaky, iffy, but for the most part, solid. So endurance, limit performance to achieve longer battery life, and then you have the manual. So that's when you kind of and you start to customize your stuff. So control mode, pretty simple, gamepad mode or desktop mode, and this is where you update the MSI Center. You update the device through MSI Center, and then you update your drivers whenever there's an update and stuff like that. And connection and settings. So pretty straightforward there. For the most part, I honestly do use this just to get in whatever game I want to play, but I like Armory Crate better. I will say that. So you got this button here for your MSI quick settings. So kind of see on every platform, right? So just shortcuts to your settings, keyboard, desktop, or gamepad mode. You can change the power settings. I usually leave it on AI engine and everything else, right? Like real-time monitor, other shortcuts, all of that is cool. So when you can basically jump through with LNR. And one of the cool things about this is that it kind of Xbox game bar built in. So this is my Xbox stuff right here. Pretty cool there. And you can see the Xbox capture feature right there. And even Xbox achievements. So there's one cool thing about it. You can basically use your Xbox game bar features there. In terms of physical features, it has an 8-inch screen. It's pretty wide, kind of akin to Steam Deck. And my Steam Deck is next to me, but not close enough where I can compare it. But it is pretty on the wider side. So if you have bigger hands, it doesn't matter if you have bigger hands or smaller hands, to be honest. This thing is kind of thin on the game pads. Like on the thinner side, it's not really bulky, right? So I'll compare this to the Legion Go S. So you can see it's a little bit on the thinner side, but it is comfortable. Like I will say it is very comfortable. I find this to be very comfortable when I'm holding it, when I'm playing it, it's like that. So just not on the wider side of that. You got two macro buttons right here, which are kind of, I don't think you can, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can customize these. It's just like the AI engine just picks it for you, or maybe you can, I'm not sure, but I've done good with letting the AI engine do its thing, and it kind of ends up being A and B anyway. You got this ribbed back, which is nice. You got the MSI logo here, and your pretty good cooling. So the fans here. So lots of openings here for the fans, so that's good. Over on the top here, you do have two USB-C. I think in this case, since it's Intel, is it Thunderbolt? It's still new to me, but yeah. Micro SD slot right here. And I actually took the micro SD that was in my GLIX and I popped it in here just to see if it was going to work, and pretty much everything worked right out of the box. I was able to just pop it in to my Claw 8 and everything was going. And you got obviously your trigger buttons, your shoulder buttons, kind of click button, and the buttons are really nice too, kind of clicky, I would say. Really good joysticks. These are also Hall effect joysticks, and the Xbox style D-pad as well. So it's kind of glossier kind of D-pad, and it comes out more than others. But in terms of the specs, talked about the specs. In terms of just my experience with the games, this thing is, I have to say, this thing is an absolute beast. You can launch any launcher that you want on this. You can play whatever you want on this device. I've mostly been using Steam on this, but I've tested Xbox launcher. I've tested Steam. Haven't tried Epic yet, but the games on this thing run like a champ. Like thing runs games like a champ. I don't have any complaints from the experience side of running the games. Like, the thing has the horsepower. If I'm not mistaken, I know that there is a new version coming out that has the AMD chip, but this is already going to be competing with the next claw that has the Z2E chip, right? So, actually, a video on that. Some covered a video on comparing the two, and this one already will be competing with the new version that they'll be releasing. So I'm pretty happy about that from a future-proof perspective, even though you have different colors and stuff. The color on this is called Sandstorm, and there is a white version that is 2 terabyte. I think it's called Polar Tempest or something like that. This one is a Sandstorm. So I like the Polar one. I like this one too. This one is, it grew on me. The speaker on this thing is amazing. There's no complaints on the speaker. Really, really good speaker. And I'll show you guys really quick. So one of the reasons that I did upgrade or buy the Claw 8, even though I have the Ally X, because they're basically head-to-head competitors, is because of the screen. So I do really like the 8.8-inch screen from the Legion Go. So I do like the bigger screen, and that really caught my attention. I was interested in seeing how that Intel chip, believe it or not, worked. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And this does have more RAM than the Ally X. So this has 32 gigabytes. And I believe the Ally X has 24. But honestly, those are little differences that you won't see much of a difference. And outside of that, my experience hasn't been perfect. I will say that. Sometimes when I'm trying to launch the quick settings while in the game, it will act funny or just wouldn't function like I needed to. And there'll be some stuttering going on. For the most part, my experience with this has been great. It hasn't been bad where I want to return it or anything like that. And I'm really enjoying it. And so, what I do want to see from MSI is just more engagement from them. You don't really know who they are in a sense. So let's put it like this: Lenovo and ROG, they have social media presences, right? Like, they post content. They're engaging with their communities. I believe our ROG's sector of ASUS has YouTube lives every Friday or something like that. And so I probably got to tweak the settings or something. I don't know. But we don't really see them interacting. I think they're an international company anyway. But it'll be nice to see that. There's also a lack of support from accessories. I don't see accessories for this thing. Always see some stuttering there. So I probably got to tweak the settings or whatever. And right now it's running on that AI thing. So I think I did limit some settings. But anyway, so there aren't any good accessories for this. There's not much support in terms of news and updates and stuff like that. So that's some of the feedback, I would say. Some pros, some cons there. Don't really feel like playing Spider-Man right now. I'm actually playing through Dragon Quest, believe it or not. So that's my take on the Claw 8 AI Plus. This thing is a beast, despite that little stuttering you saw there. In terms of gaming performance experience, I only have good things to say about it, and I'm having a really good time with it. It is kind of hard for me to go back to the Ally X, having this now, and also this bad boy right here. So I did make a video on this, so check it out. And yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's what I got. If you're considering the Claw 8 AI Plus, you can find it on Amazon. I think Best Buy had it for like a day or two, and then they sold out. It was super weird what was going on there. But yeah, that's what I got. And if you made it this far, I appreciate the hell out of you. You can help support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. That would be huge, as we're on the road to 1,000 subs. And until next time, later, guys.